Hi, this is Stacy with Lily Bean Crafts by Stacy. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, thanks for coming and watching my video. This week I'm making two tumblers. I'm making a traditional beach tumbler and I'm also making a sunset beach tumbler. I'm heading to Florida this weekend for spring break, so I've got vacation and beaches and sun on the brain right now. I'm using 16-ounce wine tumblers that I got from the Steel Magnolia. This first one, I cleaned it and I prepped it and I spray painted it with Rustoleum's Nutmeg and Satin for the bottom. And then I ombre'd Colorshot's Mermaid and Splash into each other for the top part of the tumbler. The glitters that I'm using for the beach tumbler are all from Peachy Olive Glitters. I'm using Goddess, Freshwater, Smurfette, and Scribbles. I did use the epoxy method to apply the glitters to this tumbler. So I mixed up about 5 ml of my fast set epoxy, and then I put probably like 1 to 2 ml on each cup. I like to heat up the tumbler before I put it on so it goes on smoother, and then that makes the glitter application that much easier. The sunset tumbler, I am using Goddess from Peachy Olive Glitters, and the rest of the glitters are all from Chase Ray Creations. I'm using Pacific, Daphne, Lisa, and Sunkissed. My beach tumblers, I like to start at the bottom where the sand is, where I'm using Goddess, and then I like to tilt the cup and start slowly bringing up the fade with the ombre, and I like to go really, really light with my glitter choices. Not going too heavy at the beginning. I'm going to bring it all the way up, and then I'm going to turn around and bring it back down the cup and bring it heavier so that we fill in all the spaces. The glitter application dried, after about 2 to 3 hours, I did go in with the Adhesive Apothecary glitter glue and I applied that, and that took about 30 minutes for it to dry. And then I went in with my first coat of fast set epoxy. I did about 20 ml on each cup, let that dry for about 3 hours on my spinning rack, and then I moved on to the next step. Went in and hit it with my torch to make sure that it popped all the bubbles. After that coat dried, I did go in with another 10 ml on each tumbler with my fast set epoxy, and I got it ready to add the waves and the clouds to the tumbler. I'm going in with Alumilite's white resin dye to do the waves and the clouds. And you only need a little bit of this, just a dab in your leftover epoxy. And as you can see, too much poured in. It happens to me all the time, so I'm going to go really carefully as I'm applying it onto the tumbler. I'm going to use the stir stick to put just a little bit on the spots where I want the waves to be. You don't want to go too heavy with it because it's really hard to remove it if you add too much, but you can always add more. Once I get it the way that I want it to be, I'm going to go in with my heat gun just to kind of warm it up a little bit and get a little bit of movement of the waves. And I'm a hands-on kind of person. I just cannot leave it alone. I'm going to be going in with my fingers and the gloves and moving it around and trying to perfect it, which it's not supposed to be, but that's just the way I am. Sunset Beach Tumbler is a lot heavier, and I'm okay with it. I like the way that it turned out. Going in with my clouds. I like to make the lines real thin and wispy and then apply a little bit of heat to it to get it to spread out a little bit. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. This is just the beauty of working with resin. Go ahead and let this spin on the spinner for like 3 or 4 hours. Make sure that it gets really dry before I move on to doing the decals. Sometimes from playing with the waves, it's a little bit textured on the tumbler and then I have to add another coat. This one was pretty thin, so I was able to just move right into the decal work. I got the decal from Creative Fabrica. I'll go ahead and link that in the description. And then I just had some palm trees that I've had on my Cricut forever. I actually think I might have just gotten it from Cricut, and I always just print out the same ones and apply them. I'm using a black permanent vinyl for all of my vinyl work. When I first created the vodka decal, I did do it with an offset, and then once I had it all applied, the person that I'm making it for, we kind of talked about it, and she decided that she would like it all just black, so I took it off, and the final product is all just black vinyl. To be really careful when you're applying permanent vinyl to a curved surface. It has a tendency to want to bubble up and not really want to cooperate with you, so just be really careful with that. That's kind of one of the nice things about using permanent vinyl when you're doing a cup like this, because you can manipulate the way that it lays on the cup. Here's how it looks with just the black vinyl on it. I really like the way it came out. I am applying 10 mLs of my fast set epoxy onto here. I'll pop those bubbles and then I'll let that spin for about 3 hours. Once it's dry, I'm going to sand it down really good, get it all nice and smooth. Sometimes when you're doing the palm trees, the little palm trees like to poke up on through the epoxy, so I just sand those down and you can't even tell when we do the final product. And then I went in again with 10 mLs of my Flynn Sisters epoxy, let that dry for 8 to 10 hours, and then put it on the drying rack, and it was all done. And here is the final product. I absolutely love it. But like I said, I'm going to the beach this next weekend in Florida, so I definitely have beach and Florida and sun on the brain right now. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see everybody again next Tuesday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.